everybody. My name is Steve Fielding, and I'm welcoming you to the December 2016 edition of the Revere Senior News. And sitting beside me is Camille Piccinni-Ciambelli. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Camille is the new program activity coordinator at the Rossetti-Cowan Senior Center, and we'll get into more of a discussion with Camille in a second. But first of all, I want to break away, and I want to shout out to my regular co-host, Morris. As many of you know, Morris was in a car accident, and he is currently in physical therapy, and he's doing well, and we hope to have him back soon. So if you're listening, Morris, we miss you, both here on the show, also at the Senior Center. We miss your music, we miss your personality, we miss all your funny jokes, and we hope that you get better soon. And we also wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. So now that I've got that out of the way, I want to talk about a couple of things. But before I do, like I say, Camille is a new program activity coordinator at the Senior Center, and you've been there, what, approximately 6 weeks?
Oh, yes, 6 weeks.
So we're real happy to have you.
Yes.
After a nationwide search, we found the best person that we could possibly hire to replace Lois, right?
Right, thank you, and I'm thrilled to be there.
Okay, so before we get into a discussion with Camille and about her background and what her impressions are for the first 6 weeks at the Senior Center, what I want to do is just to go over some key dates for seniors in December. Since we are now taping the December show, I just want people to know out there what's coming up. So as you all know, we have a special monthly luncheon, and that is December 15th this month. It's our special Christmas luncheon, and we have a very, very special visitor coming at 10:30 a.m. His name is Santa Claus. You've heard of Santa Claus, so
Oh, yes.
that's somebody who you might want your picture taken, and you might want to bring your list that day, Camille.
For sure.
That's
yes,
for
I
sure.
will.
So also we have a beautiful luncheon at 12 p.m. and it's featuring chicken cordon bleu, and I have to make sure I say that right. It's not blue, it's bleu. And we have a great dessert. Our entertainer that day is a man by the name of James Michael. He's a Broadway baritone, and he's somebody different, somebody that was highly recommended by a Senior Center director, and we surely welcome him on that day. So that's December 15th. It's a Thursday. You really need to call and go to the Senior Center to sign up immediately. At our Thanksgiving dinner, which was your first encounter with a special monthly luncheon, right? It was pretty packed.
Yes, it was.
It was
very enjoyable.
It was very enjoyable.
It was a good
and,
time.
You know, people had to make their reservation early. We had 20 people that we could not fit in the dining hall that
Right.
day. So please call the Senior Center. Make sure you come in. The total price of this beautiful package deal, this Christmas luncheon, is $4. So you can't beat that. Other senior centers charge $16, $20 for a meal and entertainment like this.
Correct.
And we try to keep it very low cost for our seniors.
Yes.
So it makes it very special. So coming up also in December, Carol Donovan, our senior, not our senior, she's not a senior, I shouldn't say that, our nurse from the Inspectional Services Department will be giving blood pressure and consultation readings on December 1st and the 29th from 11 to 12. And take note of that, the 1st and the 29th. And because of Christmas, we had to push it out to the next week. Our monthly hearing program with Mary Marino from Mary's Affordable Hearing Aids is December 22nd. That's a Thursday, and Mary will be there from 10 to 12. And you can call the center at 781-286-8156 and make an appointment for Mary. We also have a chair massage person by the name of Barbara McDonald, and you've met Barbara.
Yes.
She's a terrific person, and basically, quiet, I hear a duck, I don't know where that came from, but in any event,
Sure, it wasn't a turkey.
It was my text, and I forgot to turn it off, but again, you know, I just want to reiterate that Barbara McDonald will be there on December 12th from 9:30 on. We also have our podiatrist, Dr. Kaplan. He will be there on Wednesday, December 7th. And he's usually there at 8:30 in the morning, and you should come early. He usually sees about 30 or 40 patients who have their nails clipped, etc. Also, we're bringing back Lois Diamond again this month. As you all know, Lois formed a grieving group many months ago, and it's called Sharing Grief Experiences. And she will be meeting on Monday the 19th at 1 o'clock, and it's usually from 1 to 3 in the knitting room. So now that we have that out of the way, I can talk to Camille a little bit about her first impressions of the Senior Center. So you've been there 6 weeks.
Yes.
What do you think?
I love it. They're my favorite population. And it was very, I've spent a lot of time building relationships. As you mentioned, Lois Diamond, she's a hard act to follow. They adore her. So we've spent time building relationships, and they're lovely people.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know
It's
you're
quite
getting to know
enjoyable.
all the folks. There's a lot of people that have been there for many
Yes.
years. And one of the things folks out there in the TV audience should know is that Camille is bringing some really great energy to the Senior Center. She has some great ideas. And currently, you're trying to inspire them to tackle some heavy-duty crossword puzzles and other games. And you've made it fun, right? Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Well, what's very special to me is, as I mentioned, trying to build relationships, and it was actually a member who came to me, which meant a lot, and said they were discussing amongst themselves how they'd like to do this special game that I'll tell you about, and they thought they could come to me, and that's kind of neat when you're walking into a senior center and they're so in love with Lois, and they don't make bones about it, when they meet with you. So I said, well, let's try it. So it's actually kind of neat. And for me, it really, I can check off my list. I wanted to see more interaction, because many of them are self-motivated and they'll sit together, they'll chat or play cards or something. But now they're doing word search and Scrabble and chess and checkers and you name it. It's not so important to me what they do, as long as they're interacting.
Right.
And so I try to give credit. And credit is they put their work into a bucket, and I collect them. And ultimately, they will all get $1 for their efforts for each day that they participated. It's fun money. And Steve, you look amazing. You have your hat, your cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I have
So
my
you-
long
so
red
you
hair.
Made, what Camille is saying is she made these fake money denominations.
Right.
And she put the staff photos on the dollar bill or
Yes.
the $5 bill or whatever
Yes.
it is. So it is kind of, when I did see that, I kind of cracked up.
So
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. So we're getting to the point now where I'm going to be dispersing the money,
Right.
and then we're going to have an auction.
And this will be a
So
monthly
this will be
contest.
a monthly. We'll see how it goes. Like I said
Right.
to them, we'll see how you like it. I'm really trying to
Right. Well,
get them involved and let them know I'm there for them.
yes,
you
and the
know,
nice thing is,
and-
a lot of people take the exercise, the yoga, the core and balance,
Yep.
the Zumba. They're in the book
Yep.
club. These folks down in the dining area come in, and basically what they do is they sit around and have coffee and chat, and they do wait to play bingo. And I like your idea because it motivates them, to move around a little bit,
Right.
to interact more with you and with each other, and it kind of stimulates the brain.
Yeah.
So they're just not sitting there. And the other
Yeah.
thing that we try to do is we tell them, get up every 15, 20 minutes, walk around the dining room, come in the
I know.
office, go up the elevator, come down the elevator.
Yeah.
That way they're moving. Because a lot of the folks that come in for the socialization and
Right.
hang out for lunch,
Right.
a lot of them, they're not that mobile and they're older, but a lot of times they become sedentary. And because
Exactly.
of their mindset, they feel, oh, my feet are sore today, or I have neuropathy, or I can't walk that well. But that affects everything else in their body. So it really is good to stretch and to move.
Correct.
Maybe we
yes.
should have stretching exercises
Well-
in the dining room.
Well, they're just they're a resilient group, and they
Right.
get themselves in there, so that in itself speaks to their
Right.
somewhat of their willingness to continue on and participate. But I tell them, I make sure I go through the room and sit with each of them, because some people do not like to do that, and
Right.
I can't, I'm very cautious not to have them feel bad about it.
Right.
So they get credit. I said, you can get up and dance,
Yeah.
and yeah,
so it's good.
They're
So-
enjoying it. We'll see.
But I also want to, I don't want to run out of time here.
Okay.
And I want to talk about the revitalization of the computer class. And as
Yes.
many folks out there know, they've been looking for the computer/iPad class. So now that Camille's on board, we have a particular person by the name of Brenda Latterbush who will be teaching a computer class. So we have that set up to start on Thursdays. Why don't you talk a little about that?
Yes. That's going to start Thursday, December 8th. They're small groups, so in their beginning classes, and we'll adjust.
Yep.
So if someone doesn't know what a mouse is, that's fine. And if someone knows a little bit more, we can adjust. So they're going to be a ratio of 5 to 1, 5 classes, starting at 12:30 on Thursdays. And you just need to call the center and sign up with me, and we'll run additional classes.
So what happens is that there could be anywhere from 2 to 5 people in a class.
Correct.
So that one-on-one interaction, 1 to 5 interaction is great.
Right.
There'll be 5 classes, and the first one is December 8th.
8th.
And we charge $20.
Correct.
Okay, for the 5 classes.
5 classes.
And one of the things that, like Camille said, is that you need to do, what you need to do is you need to call the center at 781-286-8156. Ask for Camille. If she's not available, you can leave a message. She will call you back, and you have a growing list.
I do. Yes, it is filling up.
Right. So, and as a branch out to the technology aspect of it, is we're also working with the high school to see if we can have some kids come over and teach the iPads. In the event that doesn't work out, we're going to work on a plan to have
Yes.
the seniors understand what an iPad is, and maybe we'll just bring them down to the dining area
Yes.
and have a collection of folks and like around a table,
Yeah,
and
it's
we'll just
really
give out the
fun.
iPads at the table, and we'll just go through and explain to them what
Right.
it does.
Right.
So that's a great thing as well.
And it's a lot of fun, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. So let me ask you this, Camille. I mean, I know you you have a certificate in gerontology, and you have an
Yes.
associate's degree from North Shore Community College.
Correct, correct.
But you also have an internship that you did at the Lynn Senior Center. And why don't you talk about your experience there and you know how it's helping you now in Revere?
It was an invaluable experience. As part of my program, I did my internship over 300 hours at GLIS, the Greater Lynn Senior Service, and they're a group of wonderful people. And I spent my hours in the Protective Service Department and went along on investigations of allegations of abuse towards the elderly, be it self-neglect, caregiver neglect, sexual abuse, financial exploitation. So I've seen quite a bit. And then I did some time in the housing department and did a little bit of casework regarding that. And it was an invaluable experience, and truly you see the resiliency of people,
Yep.
you know.
And I do know the Senior Center Director in Lynn Stacy, and
Oh, yeah?
I did talk to her
Yeah.
about you
Yeah.
before I hired you.
Yeah. Well,
And,
did you?
Yeah, I
Yes.
did, and she gave me great reviews of your work and your work
Yeah.
ethic, and how
I-
and as you know, you have to be compassionate in this business,
Right, right.
and you have to be careful because there is compassion fatigue, because you can extend yourself to the point where you're doing harm to yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yeah.
It's very difficult dealing with seniors sometimes because of your attachment to them, not because of their attitudes or their personalities, but you become so involved in their daily life, and you see
And
that at the Senior Center.
I would see Stacy when I did the homeless breakfast in the morning, 2 mornings a week, and at first it was just overwhelming. And then you start to see the beauty in people, you know. So
Absolutely.
it was a great experience.
Right.
It
and,
was.
And as you know, here at the Revere Senior Center, and I always say this during the show at some point, that we offer a great meals program here as well.
We do.
We feed approximately 50 people a day. We have a nice hot meal, and you know, just so people understand out there, is we only charge $1.50 for each meal per day.
Correct.
And you know, the vendors that I order the food from, because I do the menu, and the food is home, you know, it's not home cooked, but it's prepared in our own commercial kitchen.
Right.
And I order from the same vendors that somebody like Volares or one of the other restaurant, Domino's, they all order from the same kind of vendors, and we do as well. And we also use local vendors like Bianco's. They give us a great price. I always give a shout out to them because we order there every month for sausages and various other things for our Christmas dinner and things like that. So I'm very happy to acknowledge people like that. One of the things I just wanted to mention, and again, you know, I'm not usually sitting here. Morris is usually sitting here, and he's keeping an eye on the time. But I want to give some statistics that I learned.
Okay.
You know, I attended the Massachusetts Council on Aging conference in September, with all the other directors, including the one in Lynn and other people. And there were some staggering statistics that were derived from the Gerontology Institute, the McCormick Graduate School of Policy and Global Studies from UMass Boston. Here's some interesting information. People age 60 and over right now represent 19.5% of the Massachusetts population. And this increase is largely due to the baby boomers who are reaching age 65. And if you're a baby boomer, you were born between 1945 and 1964. And so currently, that's the largest segment of the population that is retiring, reaching age 65. That's the full, what they call full retirement age. And there are 10,000 baby boomers per day reaching age 65. Most of them are retiring each day. So that's an amazing number. Right now, for the first time in U.S. history, there are more individuals age 60 or older than individuals age 20 or younger. That is staggering. And when you think about the repercussions of that age segment and the ones that are supporting Social Security, it's kind of scary. And that's why there's always this concern about Social Security and how it's going to support those that are retiring currently and beyond. Here are some interesting stats.
Excuse me.
1 in 5 Massachusetts residents is currently age 60 or over. 14% are 65 years or older. 1/4 of all the households in Massachusetts includes at least one person age 60 or over. And 11% of all Massachusetts households are now composed of a person age 65 and living alone.
Excuse me.
That's incredible, and it's kind of
Staggering.
frightening. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Now here's some interesting
Sneezing here.
stats. 2.2 million people in Massachusetts out of the 6.5 million are over age 50. 1.3 million people in Massachusetts represent 19.4% of people who are 60 or over. Nearly 650,000 people in Massachusetts, 9.7%, are over 70 years old, and nearly 300,000 people, or 4.3% of the population, are over 80. And the greatest proportion of those over 80 are women. The over 85 senior segment of the population is the most rapidly growing population. And this is due because people are living longer. And as you know from your experience in Lynn, you probably witnessed the same thing. 1 in 3 seniors do live alone. 1 in 3 senior households have an income of $20,000 or less. That's considered poverty level, folks.
Right.
So when you think about taxes and you think about the cost of living, your Social Security very rarely meets what the cost of living is, as far as, you know, complementing it. It's very scary for people who are on fixed income. So when they say they're on fixed income, that's scary. Sometimes they give up something else, like food, to pay for medication. So there's a lot of repercussions. 1 in 4 65-year-olds do volunteer or continue to work, and that's because they're living longer. Some of them can't retire.
Correct,
A lot of companies did away with pensions. And so, and they're also helping out their children and babysitting their grandchildren, helping support those people who are raising their children alone, who are their children. And the last stat I'm going to give is 25% of the workforce are senior caregivers. Now, you know what a caregiver is.
Yes.
You know, so they either go to the home or they go to an outreach facility or something like that. So it's more relevant now than ever at the Rossetti-Cowan Senior Center that we continue to have the correct number of people on our staff. We have the services and the contacts that we can provide referrals.
Correct.
And if you're not aware of it, we do use Mystic Valley Elder Services as our agency access point.
Yes.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you about is when you were in school and you were attaining your gift, not your gift certificate, your gerontology certificate, you must have studied, you know, what the impact of this age boom is on the population.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes. And you speak of, protective services
Right.
and such.
I mean, the impact on schools and in Revere we have had 6 schools built, I believe, in the last 12 or so years, and they're thinking about building a new high school. And if the current work population, isn't keeping up with those that are older, and taxes are raised, which usually happens when you're building new schools, even if you're getting a state grant of some kind, well, the cost of living doesn't keep up with the senior income. So it's going to be a heavy burden for our seniors.
The ramification of just the housing alone is the magnitude and the heartbreak. You're talking about elder people who are no longer able to stay in the homes they've been in
And we
for
have
quite a long time, and we lack housing.
Yeah, and
in
we
this
have 5
country. So
elderly
it's-
housing units in Revere, but it's
It's
not
devastating.
enough. It's not enough.
Frankly.
Yep.
It's devastating. Sometimes I feel like the elderly are somewhat forgotten.
Well, they are. That's the
And,
general feeling, and
you know,
as far as senior center directors go.
Yeah, and you talk about like even just everything. I mean, when you think about it, even the drug epidemic, and there are a lot of cases of exploitation for these elders too. So sometimes I don't think they realize what we're doing. Like at the center, making and keeping relationships is also keeping a watchful eye.
Right.
On
you know, as
people.
you know,
And
we rely on grants mostly to fund the program services and activities. They're state grants. We're very fortunate in Revere that we do have the support of the mayor and our city councilors. But I think sometimes what gets lost is the actual work that we do, because we're in the paper a lot. We're on Revere News, the senior news. We give out our newsletter, and there's always very positive, upbeat pictures or stories about what's going on at the Rossetti-Cowan Senior Center. However, like you say, there is a lot of elder abuse. There's a lot of issues that we deal with. I deal with people's adult children all the time. Some of them feel totally isolated despite having family around. They do live alone. So I'll segue into what I always like to talk about on this show, is that if you are a senior, if you're 60 plus, or if you're watching this show and you have a parent 60 plus, come down to the senior center. Come and take a tour. Meet with me. Meet with Camille. Meet with the ladies in the office, Camille, Marisa, and Marianne. We also have a fantastic shuttle service to bring people there. We have a new driver. I just hired a new part-time driver, Dennis Garante, who has already started. And we have a full-time driver, Jim Carlton. We only charge $1 each way. If you want to know about the shuttle service and the low cost to seniors for using this service, please call the Senior Center at 781-286-8156. Take a look at our newsletter. This is the December newsletter. It's going to be out at various retail stores, at City Hall, in the banks, at the post office. We deliver this everywhere. We post it on revere.org, which is the city website, under Elder Affairs. And we have a window on our homepage called Quick Links. There's also a video that was made 3 years ago about the Senior Center, and basically, with the addition of programs, it's changed somewhat, but it basically gives you a nice feeling of what the Senior Center is all about. And that's to bring a warm, safe, positive, fun environment to our seniors, and we can't forget them.
And we can't go without mentioning our exercise programs. They're so important. We all know, how important it is to keep a strong core, and which is, I know, Steve, you participate in some of the
I
classes.
do. Well,
like
we
the
do
Zumba.
have Zumba toning on Wednesday night.
Although at this point I can't keep up with you guys.
But it is good for all ages, actually.
Yes, but it's very important. We have a lot of great instructors, and that help develop the core. And you don't have to be.
You go at your own
They're
pace.
very low impact. And they're very mindful. They're very, they understand limitations and such.
So that class is 2 days a week. And I also want to give a shout out. We also have a yoga and meditation class.
Correct.
That's a little bit lower key, but that's more positive psychology, positive energy, and it helps relieve any pressure or stress that you might put on yourself. When you say a senior has stress, they don't work, they just come to the senior center. But I'm sure that they have a lot of concerns about their health, about their children, their grandchildren, their living environment.
Right.
You know, they have needs just like everybody else. Just because you're over 65 doesn't mean that you know you're off the table. You still have to live, and you have to enjoy life.
Correct.
And you should enjoy it to the fullest. And that's what we try to provide there.
True.
You know.
It's a lifeline.
Right. The other thing that we have is a beautiful book club. They meet on the third Thursday of every month, and it's a wonderful group. And Janice von Huckelman of the library runs that, and they always read really exciting new releases, and they discuss them, and that's a very positive thing.
Yes.
You know, so one of the things that we offer besides bingo is a movie day every Wednesday, and by the time this show airs, we will have a new 80-inch flat screen plasma TV on the wall. And it'll be fantastic for our movies. We're very lucky that the library works with me in bringing in new releases. You know, just like you would go to Redbox. Well, here you come in to see a movie on Wednesday of every week.
Yeah.
And you have a nice snack and
And
coffee.
a nice snack.
And
yes.
you
Meet
see
nice
a great
people.
movie. Yep,
Yeah,
great
it's-
people. We've got about 15 or 20 people that watch the movie every week.
Right.
And we would love more. And with this new flat screen TV, it's going to make it even better.
Yes.
And we are hoping to revitalize, or at least take a look at our Bose system that's been tucked away for a while, and see if we can get some surround sound of some kind.
Yep.
So that's an exciting new thing.
Very.
And
very
I
exciting.
do want to give a shout out to Home Depot of Saugus, because last month in November, they came down with a team of 12 associates and the Bear Paint representatives, and we had our multi-purpose room painted for free, and the paint donated for free. So I'm looking at the clock, and I'm saying, what would Morris do? WWMD.
Tell a joke.
He'd tell a joke, and he'd say, okay, thank you very much. We wish you a very, very Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year. Welcome to Camille. Welcome to Dennis. Morris, again, we wish you the very best. We hope to see you soon, and we hope that you can join us for our January show. And our prayers are with you. God bless you. God bless America. God bless Revere. God bless the seniors. And I think that's what you say, Morris, all the time, right? So we'll see you next time for the January issue of the Senior News.